My name is Darryl Long. I'm the Managing Director of Ubisoft Singapore and Philippines. I've been working here in the studio for the last 6 months. I just joined in January. Before that, I was at Ubisoft Winnipeg as the Managing Director there. And before that, I was in Montreal working at Ubisoft on the Far Cry series of games. Well, I graduated from university as an engineer, and at the time I wanted to write software. That's what I loved doing. So I got a job working for a company that wrote software in the finance industry, doing software for traders to trade stocks and things like that. And after about 2 years, I realized I'm not having any fun. This is not what I want to do. And at that point, I didn't know what to get into. I wanted something challenging. I wanted an industry that was dynamic and fun and cutting edge, but I didn't know what to do. And that was really around like the .com boom and everything happening. So I was looking at a lot of different options. Ironically, ever since I was a kid, I've been making video games. My mother actually taught me to code when I was 8 years old. I told her I wanted to make video games, so she taught me how to make my own video games. And I've been making games ever since in my spare time. Yet it didn't occur to me to go into the video game industry because at that point, the video game industry was still young. It wasn't really a career option. No guidance counselor would tell you at high school that you could go into video games as a career. So it just didn't occur to me. Finally, I found my option. I saw my break. I got a job in the video game industry as a programmer, specializing in AI. I did that for a few years, moved to Ubisoft. I really wanted to work for Ubisoft because Rainbow Six was my favorite game. I wanted to work on it, and that's what brought me in. After that, I started to get more and more into management roles, and that experience as a programmer, those years as a technical person, I think have been very influential. It's really influenced the decisions I make, the way that I work, and it has helped me also realize the challenges that people face moving from a technical expertise into a management role. Well, for me personally, moving from a technical role into a management role, the challenge was realizing that it's not my job anymore to have all the answers. And like being a technical expert, you're reading white papers, you're always trying to stay up on the literature, and it's all about me, and can I be the best programmer that I want to be? When I became a manager, I very quickly realized it's not about me anymore. It's about the team. It's about helping the team be the subject matter experts, helping them grow, coaching them to be the best that they can be. I had to really adopt a people-first mindset very quickly on in being a manager because I realized I have a team of 10 people and I need to help them be the best they can be, to be the most performant team out there, help them do the best work of their career. It's not anymore about what I do, it's about what they do. So coming to Ubisoft Singapore, I did need to change my focus. In Ubisoft Winnipeg, it was all about tech, right? And so it was my technical background that was a big part of what I was doing. But still, my style of people-first management was very prevalent in my work at Ubisoft Winnipeg. Coming to Ubisoft Singapore, that's just continued. So still very, very people-focused. This is a team that is building a AAA game for the first time, supporting them, showing them a vision for the future, that we're in a big industry, we're doing amazing things now in this studio, we have so much potential, and just helping them realize that, showing them that there's a great path moving forward in AAA development. And the studio's already done so much. It's 13 years the studio's been here, and they've worked on 9 Assassin's Creed titles. The most recent Assassin's Creed Valhalla, this team contributed a huge part to that. So they're already accomplishing great things, and now it's bringing it all together as the lead studio on a AAA Skull and Bones is just a big step forward for them, and supporting them through that is really my main job. At Ubisoft Winnipeg, from the beginning, it was conceived as a tech studio. And I was the original managing director there, so the vision for that studio really came from my background and my expertise in technology, but also the opportunity in Winnipeg, which has a great tech sector. So I wanted to build something that made sense for the city, and it played to my strengths as well in my history. Coming to Singapore and Ubisoft Singapore, I had to rely on different strengths. So I had to go back to my experience as a producer on the Far Cry series, and Far Cry 5 was the most recent game. It is a huge game, incredibly ambitious, and a real AAA game. It's been that knowledge that I've been able to bring to Singapore, which are a team that are building their own AAA game. And let's be honest, it's their first time as a team together building a AAA on Skull and Bones. And I've been able to bring that, that experience of what you're going through right now is normal. It's okay. And I can be a little bit the stable point for them as they're going through these challenges. AAA production is extremely difficult. It is one of the toughest things in the industry, if not the toughest thing to do. And I've been able to guide them and coach them through all these experiences and challenges and support them on doing the best work of their careers. It is really, really hard to pick a favorite dish. I have tried I tried so much food over the last 6 months, it's really hard to nail it down. I've tried chicken rice. I've had like 4 different chicken rice. I've had a lot of different dishes that I have no idea how to pronounce their names, so I can't even tell you what they were. I love the hawker centers. I love going to a hawker center and just walking in and having no idea what I'm ordering and just buying something. I had an amazing chili crab a couple weeks ago. And sometimes it's nice to go to a restaurant and just have something a little more what I'm used to, something close to home as well, because even the European style restaurants here are absolutely top class. There's been a lot of things that are different for sure, and because Ubisoft is a company that each studio is very autonomous, it's just very Ubisoft style, letting people be who they are and encouraging them to find their own way, to be ambitious. Each studio is also different. So there's been a lot of subtle differences, mostly related to HR policies and things like that, but also a lot of that is just crafted to the local ecosystem here in Singapore. So these aren't things that I can casually change and say, oh, we're going off in a new direction. Are these policies best suited for the ecosystem around us? One thing that I have been trying to bring and continue at Ubisoft Singapore is the investment in the local community around us. It's so important to us to work with universities, and so that's been a lot of learning for me, is what are the schools here? What are their different strengths? So our relationship with the universities, the polytechnics, that's been really important to us, and we're continuing our work there. Learning the local video game scene as well. We're getting to know the SGGA, or I should say I'm getting to know the SGGA and continue the work that Ubisoft has done with the SGGA over the years. And other things like DigiPen. DigiPen is a multinational school as well, but we're working very closely with them here in Singapore. The COVID pandemic for sure has been challenging for everybody, and the number one thing for us was making sure that our people are safe. So very early on in the pandemic, we closed the studio and said people should work from home. Our IT team was amazing, adapting the way that we operate so that we can continue working from home, and that was actually really, really well done and pretty seamless. Now I would say the biggest thing is we kind of miss each other. It's been a year now, and we're a creative company. Our people are creative, and they're in isolation more than ever before. So obviously we want to get together. The studio is still an important part of the way we work, in that it's a place where we can collaborate, and that's really been held back for the past year. So as things open up, we will open up, and we'll be there for our teams to use the studio to work together, to collaborate, to brainstorm and be creative. And then when things shut down, we also will shut down and make sure that our people are safe. Well, our focus right now is definitely on Skull and Bones and Assassin's Creed. So Could there be esports in our future? Absolutely, that is a possibility. I mean, here we have a very, very unique position. We're the only Ubisoft studio as Singapore and Philippines in Southeast Asia, and that's a great opportunity. So I want to make sure we're building games that really appeal to the local market here as well. Ubisoft Philippines is our sister studio, so we're working really closely with them. We share a lot. I mean, everything from the games that we work on, the technology that we use, to even our HR policies, communications, things like that. We're constantly sharing back and forth. Their main contribution is as a co-dev partner to many Ubisoft titles all across Ubisoft. So not just with Ubisoft Singapore, but in fact, they also contribute to the Assassin's Creed games and many others.